Commander is awesome, but I've not played a game for 2 years now. Scheduling middle-aged people is no joke.
I'm off to the Arctic for 3 weeks.
So I've called in an expert.
Hello everyone.
Elk is going to help me finish building my dream Commander deck, and then to make sure it's actually fun, I'm going to test it out on a bunch of strangers.
Do we forget that the man that made us discard all of our cards were the Beamtown Bullies?
Yeah, that's why I'm punching them.
You punched me!
I punched you? Ah, my bad.
It's mostly just like card quality issues that I'm seeing that are likely to come up. Also, 30 lands is like really a war crime.
It is a war crime, yeah.
Is this rage bait?
Give me a sec to explain what this deck's actually about. So I love graveyard combo decks in Constructed. We're talking Pod, Dredge, Reanimator, you know the drill. The problem is that most graveyard combo decks either do a whole lot of nothing, or they find the same infinite combo every game. And in my opinion, neither of these things makes for a fun deck. About a year ago, I searched around for something that would let me play a more interactive game, and eventually found this guy. Beamtown Bullies lets you give your opponents creatures from your graveyard, and then they're forced to attack someone other than you with them. Now, there are some very salty targets you can donate with this, like Leveler and Eater of Days, but again, I don't think these make for fun games. I'm looking to give people stuff like Boulderware Heavyweights, which lets everyone search their deck and put any creature they want into play, or creatures that generate multiple combat steps just to throw a wrench in that control player's plans. So I've got reanimation targets, dredge cards to fill the graveyard, and loot and wheel effects to aggressively trigger them. Anyways, back to Elk.
With wheels, reloading your opponents is actually incredibly terrifying. Like one wheel, your first wheel is probably going to be your most important one. And because of that, I think Entomb Ruin Grinder or Buried Alive Ruin Grinder, if you want that wheel effect, is probably just actually better.
You just have the tutorable option rather than, there's also a creature rather than messing around with all these like non-creature versions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Besides that, I'm like looking at your top end and I'm like, is an 11/11 with Trample really that good? I know it cycles for 2, like it entombs itself, Titanoth Rex, but Endway's Forerunner's up here as well. It's like, I don't know. I'm thinking about cards that you want to search off when you give your Boldweir Heavyweights away.
A lot of the biggest, craziest things you want to put into play are like, I end the game now, and I was a little bit reticent to do that. But you're right, I should have some better things I could put into play.
Yeah, I like the Dredge package with the draw discard cards. Very big fan of that. It's a very good way to mill yourself rapidly. However, I still even think in that world, Anger is really gonna fall behind.
Still a bit too dorky, yeah.
Yeah, for me, Anger, what the issue is that you're going to like Beamtown Bullies most of the time. Your big splashy play is Beamtown Bullies, give an opponent Boldweir Heavyweights, and then you get to tutor a creature directly into play. And in that case, haste is worthless because you're going to untap with that creature anyway. Yeah, Perennial Behemoth is another one that's like really strange to me. You may play lands from your graveyard.
Yeah, this is again me being like, this is worth like a land kind of, right, guys? Yeah, because that's how misguided and foolish I was. I've got that and Ramanab Excavator and stuff in there.
Yeah, I would not be running either of those. Like, I understand the appeal of Milla's bunch of stuff, get stuff back, but like that's like where your Eternal Witness is actually better because you can just get anything back with that. I know you can play multiple lands off those. It's mostly just like you should be drawing into lands most of the time, and I am a little down on Hogak unless you're doing like combo stuff with him, but he's probably just good enough with how much you're milling. I mean, looking at the rest of the picks in your deck, I'm actually not that like grossed out, besides maybe Corpse Connoisseur.
He's very underrated. I think it was just a bit of an old pet card. And just more shooters, a very underpowered.
I am a little... No. I actually like Molten Primordial. I was given pause a little bit by Molten Primordial because I'm like, oh, you like put this into play at instant speed off the Boulderweir Heavyweights, runs again this play pattern coming up. And then that's a little bit awkward because you steal your opponent's creatures and then it doesn't matter because you're just going to give them back on the end step and it's not your turn, right? Because you can only activate the Beamtown Bullies when it's not your turn. Yeah, you're right. I can't mess myself over by putting it in with Heavyweights if I want to do that. I'll just remove a couple more cards that I feel like are a little lackluster for rate. So I'm thinking like Ox of Agonis, even though I love that card. It's very well designed. I like it a lot. It's too underpowered, damn. I mean, if it's a really important pack card, you can keep it around. No. Some more extra room. I think like Bedlam Reveler good enough, or are they also underpowered? Yeah, Bedlam Reveler I wouldn't be running.
Okay.
Yeah, I also like the plan of with these cards, like give it to your opponent, and you like discard their entire hand and make them draw 3. Like that's funny. However, I think Sire of Insanity is like really just like better at doing that. And like a lot of people are gonna probably be like, Elk, you know, like this is a singleton format. These are redundancy for that the best play of Sire Insanity. But for me, honestly, it's mostly a fact of like we are already running Unmarked Grave, Buried Alive, Entomb, right? Like we have all these effects already that can put stuff directly into our graveyard. We have Mass Mill to do it as well. We can just afford to only keep the best cards because Fiend Artisan's here as well, because we get to have so many tutors that keep our plays really compact. So that gave us 11 slots to play around with. I think my first edition is going to be Disciple of Freyles. This is very good when you bold weir heavyweights, right? Give that to an opponent, and then you search up something huge and stupid like Hogak.
And then
you can just drop the Disciple.
Yeah. Draw a million cards. Seems pretty good. I guess you could play politics with it too if you wanted to give it to somebody.
Yeah, you could. It's really funny that way too. Next, I'm going to add Backlash. This is a card that is...
Oh, yeah. That's old school.
Yeah, so you get to tap... This used to get played in Legacy because lands was super popular. And so people would be making Merit Lage left, right, and center. So you could tap Merit Lage and then it would just punch its controller in the mouth.
Yes.
For 20. Here, you're doing very much the same thing. You tap the Beamtown Bullies, Bold Weir Heavyweights, your opponent gets it. And then you cast Backlash and then have their creature hit them.
That's a lot of fun.
I would also maybe be in because you're kind of allergic to lands. So this one will feel like a land while not being a land. It's a Kazul's Fury. This is a fling. Card I've been really impressed with recently is Ripples of Undeath. This card used to be $2, then people caught on. Play this for 2, and then you basically, in this deck at least, draw 3. Because in my mind, putting 3 cards in your graveyard is just as good as drawing them.
It's not even permanence. Yeah, this card is nuts.
So next, I'm going to add Saw in Half. This is really good with Eternal Witness. So what you can do is Eternal Witness, and then you saw in half the Eternal Witness. And then you can get saw in half and a different card back, and then you can saw in half the new Eternal Witness. Right?
Oh, it's just a loop.
Yeah, so you have a value loop there, and each time you can get back something like a Backlash, let's say. I'm going to recommend Uvenwald Tracker.
Okay, that's an interesting choice. Why are you thinking Uvenwald Tracker?
So Uvenwald Tracker is going to be joining with his brother, Royal Assassin. The joke here with Royal Assassin and Uvenwald Tracker is that your opponent attacks with the creature, and then you go, okay, great. After damage, after everything, I'll tap my Royal Assassin or I'll tap my Uvenwald Tracker, and I will kill the creature I gave you.
And then you can reanimate it again because it exiles otherwise, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would exile at the beginning of the next end step otherwise.
This is a nice compromise between the like really niche, because there's like a Scepter card that people often use with bullies to like flicker something or whatever.
Oh, Despotic Scepter, destroy target permanent you own.
Yeah, which seems too niche, right? Too cute. Whereas these at least have a little bit more utility, right?
Yeah, I always strive to find cards like that actually have like more text outside of their otherwise niche use. Like I do like the fact that Royal Assassin and the Uvenwald Tracker are just removal spells on anything. And then they can also be used alongside the Beamtown Bullies to blow something up. I'm going to add a Seedborn Muse.
Ooh, that's one that I think it's very clearly nuts with this deck. I think it's one of those that's like slightly house ruled by some of my local friends, so I would probably switch out for something else. But if I'm going to try it online, there's no issues here.
Yeah, of course. If you wanted something else other than Seedborn Muse, there's a few other cards that do similar things. Quest for Renewal is like Seedborn Muse, but it's a lot less salty.
Let's maybe go with Quest for Renewal, because then
sounds good. Absolutely.
Get to hold the moral high ground on that one.
All right, wonderful. Yeah, upping the lands, Balaged Recovery is a really good option. Bogart Trawler to grave hate a little bit. And it's also something you can politically use, give it to an opponent, and then they can Bogart Trawler. Stomp is a very good removal spell, although it is sorcery speed, which makes it a little bit lackluster. Colony Ambush, which is an instant. And I've been kind of impressed with Revitalizing Repast. That gives Indestructible to a creature and also puts a counter on it. Now we're up to 37, and we only have to cut 3 cards for that.
Another card to mention, by the way, is like Hermit Druids is crazy powerful. Is it like
too
good
I wouldn't dream
to have?
touching that card.
Yeah, like
Too good? No, absolutely
good? No,
not.
it's fine. Yeah. It's definitely
Yeah,
like
you have to wait
potentially
for it
nuts.
to untap. It's like
I
it's
suppose,
like the
yeah.
Ferris Mill engine of them all.
It's on them if they let it on tap. I guess that's maybe that was part of the reason why I put anger in there, because I'm just like, the nut draw is Hermit Druid anger.
Yeah, you need faithless looting in that equation too, though, right? It's not quite as easy as you would think. Or you'd have to get lucky with the Burning Inquiry or Gamble.
I do like Gamble a lot. It's interesting that it was on the
Recent addition to the Game Changers.
yeah, it's on the Game Changers, but it's just such a fun card, especially in this deck.
Gamble and Demonic Tutor really give you a lot of flexibility in this deck, like a ton. And that's why you can run a lot of fun ofs as opposed to just like jam packing your deck with redundancy. People don't realize this, but with tutors, you actually get to have like a lot more of a large sampling platter of effects because you can just tutor for the one that you need.
Yeah, basically
Like,
what I'm trying to do here is consistent randomness, if you get what I mean, where I'm like consistently wanting to find like things like Heavyweights or Tempting Worm or Sire or something like that that's going to do something different every game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Sire of Insanity is probably your best path to victory any given game. Just like make everyone have no hand, and then suddenly you're the only player that can use their graveyard really efficiently.
Yeah.
The infamous Cruel Claw. By no means is it required, but it's a discard outlet, and it also lets you cheat a giant monster if you happen to cascade into it by discarding that thing. And it's really good with Arena of Glory, which I just put in the deck.
Yeah, actually, I think that does fit really well.
Yeah, so if you want it, we could probably just cut the Dark Deal, is my thought.
Yeah, my understanding was Dark Deal was quite a powerful card, but if we're just like, we can get Sire reliably enough, we don't need doubles of this effect, whatever, then yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's entirely my thought, is like Dark Deal is strong, but it's strong with like Shieldred. It's strong with Orcish Bowmasters, of which you are running neither. I like it, using it as like a mass discard my hand thing. It's always just better to entomb Unmarked Grave, Buried Alive for the Sire of Insanity or for the Dragon Mage, and then give that to an opponent or something, right? And then Hellbent everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm about done just making swaps to this deck. I think it should be good to go.
Okay, well, yeah, I'm glad that you like the Dredge package. I was worried that like too much of it was totally like off, like too far off.
No, Dredge
basically.
is broken.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know it's definitely like powerful, but I'm glad that I wanted to find a way to make it hopefully work in a slightly more fun way for, say, Commander, rather than just like I'm speedrunning doing broken shit. Also, I'm glad that Lord of the Void stayed, because it seemed like one of the more fun reanimation targets.
Yeah, but I do need to say this, like, for the audience and stuff, like, Lord of the Void is not a good card in Magic the Gathering, but it's fun and it's impactful enough. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Is like, is that these plays are actually like doing something to affect the board state in the game, and Lord of the Void is a card that will do that.
I'm looking for somebody to hit somebody else with a creature I give them, and them to just have like a funny moment out of it. That's great. Thank you for saving me from myself and my very terrible mana count and mana source count. I don't know what I was thinking. Past me has a lot to answer
everyone
for.
run more lands.
Yeah, everyone play enough lands. Don't get a professional in if you can't do it yourself. Speaking of, you can get Elk to do what they've just done for me for your deck.
So yeah, I stream every Sunday and Tuesday. Sunday it's at 4 p.m. and Tuesday it's at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And yeah, you can get your deck reviewed on my stream. And I literally will do what I did here live on Twitch. Yeah, there's a whole form to fill out and everything, so I don't cut your baby pet cards and stuff like that.
Yeah, you can name your children ahead of time so nothing bad will happen to them. And then Elk will help fix your deck like they did here. Thanks again. I'll leave all the links below to your stuff. And I'll hopefully give this a go and see how it plays. I'm sure it'll play a lot better than it was going to without your help. No question. If you want to see both versions of the deck, then they're in the description. And while you're down there, you should subscribe. Do it. So now it's time to take this baby on the road. I ended up going to Moldhound's Discord server, found some nice people who are willing to play a bracket 3 game with me. We just happened to end up with 5 players instead of the regular 4, but it made for a very memorable game. We have Chromium ventures into the dungeon, Valgavoth Mill, Gale Dimir Storm, get rid of the many tokens, and me. Our Valgavoth player got started quickly with turn 1 Altar of the Brood and turn 2 Altar of Dementia.
I play everyone else's deck. This deck is here to just give me your cards.
I should be trying to work with you and get you to mill my deck so it goes faster. Going into my turn 3, I had an Entomb to search up whatever I wanted, but without a 4th land to play Beantown, I needed to search up the best thing I could put into play with Reanimate myself, Sire of Insanity.
I'm not going to be able to do anything now.
Listen, top decking isn't actually that bad in concept.
After discarding everyone's hand, I tried to make it up to them a little bit by offering my Sakura Tribe Elder to help fix their mana.
Who wants to be friends?
Give me Sakura.
No, I am not being friends. I'm swinging.
That's fair, that's understandable. What creature from my graveyard do you want?
Sakura, please.
I had a feeling you might say that.
Dragon Mage.
Dragon Mage.
If you want to rebuild some goodwill, I would get Dragon Mage.
Good way of maybe making people hate me a bit less.
You a bit less, not too much less.
It's very good for everybody at the moment, which means I probably shouldn't use it. I'm going to give you this on your upkeep.
I continued to donate things with bullies and learned that commander players have really short memories.
I'm going to give you a Saki Snake.
Ah, I definitely actually really need that.
Do we forget that the man that made us discard all of our cards were the Beamtown Bullies?
Yeah, that's why I'm punching them.
You punched me!
I punched you? Ah,
I did.
my bad. Memory's fading.
You can also have this on your upkeep.
Why, thank you. So everyone discard their hand, draw 7. Valgavoth.
Oh my god, that's actually insane. We're actually going to cast Minus Desire.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing it 6 times total.
So Valgavoth began storming off and eventually passed the turn of 4 life with a Whisper Soak Cloak equipped, as well as a bunch of stolen cards to work with on the following turn. So I made the only reasonable play I could, creating an 11/11 Bane of Progress.
Bane of
Cast some
Progress.
Oh.
Whoa. Yes.
Our Chromium player makes it clear that they can kill the Valgavoth player before they untap, and I donate a Bloodthirster which ends up giving them some life and forces the Chromium player to do some maths.
Yeah, now I'm gonna actually have to try to kill you.
A few moments later.
I did an oopsie. I didn't do the maths.
This has suddenly become interesting. I'm doing Breach the Multiverse.
Oh, lordy.
I think I'm just ready to give in at this point.
I'm not. Never give up.
So Breach the Multiverse ended up grabbing Terror of the Peaks, Brainstealer Dragon, and a bunch of other creatures. This threatened lethal on the Chromium player, and so with all that on the stack, they void-rendered Valgavoth, and then managed to find a way to kill them with all the triggers on the stack.
I gain 3 and venture into the dungeon.
Each player loses 2.
Our Tomb of Annihilation. Each player loses 2. So you're dead.
Now at 4 players, and with Chromium being the biggest threat, I had to try and take them out while the shields were down.
I have 1 treasure token.
Okay, can you stop me flinging this Bane at your face?
No, I cannot. You got me.
In less than 1 turn cycle, half of everyone's decks went away and 2 players died.
Yeah, the 2 biggest threat players.
Yeah, the 2 future threats. A present for you, have a Sire of Insanity.
What a dick. That's crazy.
I am going to play Guff
Oh my
Triplets.
Ooh.
Now down to 3, our Geared player is the new archenemy with his army of Gruff tokens. Although I did manage to get everyone to discard their hands again, it's looking tough. I searched my deck looking for anything that might be able to help, and I don't find anything obvious.
Do it, but this will be the most funny thing to do, so let's do that. Put Baltimore Heavyweights into play. Trigger, each of you get to search your decks for a creature card of your choice and put it into play.
I guess.
Ooh. 3 times tokens? Sure.
Tap Reese.
Understandable.
And swing for 15. And you know what? Tap, tap. I'm happy with this amount of Gruff Triplets.
I'll give you a Royal Assassin, and you can decide if you want to use it to hurt me more or hurt him.
That's fair.
That's what I was hoping would happen.
Deflecting SWAT to one of the Guff Triplets.
I just lose it. I just lose it on the spot. I'm like, no.
Our Gale player realizes that they can do a lot of flying damage, but not quite enough to take out the Geared player in 1 turn. But I think I can get the job done on my turn.
Sack the Hierarch, searching for a 3 CMC cards, get Eternal Witness, get back Backlash, and then try and kill you with your Ogre.
That's that.
That's why I gave it to you.
Yes, that was the plan all along.
It was the plan all along, clearly.
Why the f*** is every person that becomes the archenemy dying?
They're becoming the arch enemy, and you shouldn't do that.
So you've got lethal in the air next turn unless I can do something.
If I draw a spell, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I will swing in with heavyweights and give you a tempting worm. Luckily, this is still a flying blocker,
Play this Reliquary Tower,
so we have a chance.
go to combat, and swing this Tempting Worm your way.
Okay, yeah, I'll block with this. Doesn't have trample.
Okay.
So yeah, let it turn what's down. Chump, that makes sense. Okay, I play Golgari Thug, use Dread Return, sacking these 3 to bring back Eternal Witness, which gets back Fury. I get Fury. And then I yeet my Fiend Artisan at you.
That'll do it.
Oh my god. I did not expect to be casting so many Furies and Backlashes. Well, it was a long but very crazy game.
Yeah, I think everyone got to go off except Byron.
I think this deck was a huge success. I had a lot of fun donating stuff and seeing all the weird chaos that it caused. I guess the next step is to hit up my friends and try and play in paper again. If you liked the video, then don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss my future ones, and you'll probably enjoy this video as well.